Stock says, Stock, what are you doing? That. Oh, wait. This is not that side. Oh, I'm sorry. But, yeah. What was that? Well, I'm just going to stick with the intro. It was a horrible intro. I'm just gonna stick with it. Today we're going to watch some more animated story. Today we're going to watch my mom and sister sleeping in that room at night. Dag lang. So, even krachten, even te zien, krachten, even het. 10 likes, alle de krachten, zo. Even raak 10 likes, alle de krachten. De laat right into it.
Hey there, my name is Asher.
Hey there, my name is Asher.
About all the times that my mom and sister have acted
Right.
strange around me.
They have some little sounds. They have some little sounds.
And I don't mean just strange, I mean strange. Like, that cannot be politically or morally correct kind of strange. If you want, here's a little more about us. I live with my mom and my younger sister Mira. She's 3 years younger than me. My father kind of ran off a while ago.
I see the Glenn. Daddy issues.
A little after my sister was born. My mom specifically works retail, and always has, since she was 17. It's not the largest salary one can make, but it's better than
It's not bad.
being a single parent to 2 kids and all.
Oh shit.
Sometimes she needs to take on side jobs to make ends meet.
That's sad.
But
That's
my sister,
sad.
who's 16, makes some really good money babysitting and dog sitting. Our neighborhood is packed with large families,
Okay.
most of which have at least 1 kid and 2 dogs. Sometimes she'll help my mom out when she needs it. Though, despite that, my mom isn't as close to my sister as she is me. It has to do with the whole father leaving after Mira was born thing.
Unless there's a man in the house, because she lives a man.
Probably will never tell her what she truly thinks of her.
Wait, what?
I'm
What's
currently on
that?
break from college, which allows me more time with them. But to be honest, I didn't really want to go back home. But I also didn't live in a dorm to stay in, because that would mean college
Look exactly like your father. Look exactly like your father.
debt. I'll explain my college situation a little later. When I came back home, my mom and sister were all over me again.
Jesus Christ.
They never left me alone. I
God
know
damn.
exactly why.
Talking not go cleanly.
I
Jesus.
don't like telling people this because it makes me seem like some conceited fool, but I suppose I'll start from the beginning. Before I was born, my mom was extremely unlucky in everything she ever did. It was truly a miracle that she managed a career in retail without getting fired. Despite all of the things that went wrong for her, she constantly got laid off from paychecks as compensation for her poor work.
Wow, that's
The only
sad.
thing she was lucky about then was that she didn't get fired. She
That's
went around and
sad.
tried to win raffles, but in the end, she only lost more money. However, that all changed when I was born. She was a working parent, same as my dad, who was there still, but her income was a lot less than his. However, my mother claims that the moment I came into this world, it's like a switch flipped. Once, she was tight on time, so she had to bring me with her. Her coworkers didn't mind, apparently. That day when she brought me, she did nothing different at her job. Yet, she suddenly got a promotion which upped her pay.
What? Look at that seems highly doubtful.
She believed it was because of me, and started calling me her lucky
Oh
charm.
no.
There
Oh
was one thing
no.
that my mom always wanted, and that was a second child. But all the times she and my father tried, it was never successful. My mom swears by it. I don't remember this. But she told me one day that when I was 3, I told her I wanted a little baby sister, which was the first time she's ever heard me say that. A few nights after that, she was pregnant with Mira. That only increased her belief that I was a lucky
Oh
child,
no.
literally and
Oh
figuratively.
no.
When Mira
Oh,
was born,
no.
a stroke of misfortune fell upon us. My father left, and so did the income needed for the bills.
Oh shit.
He didn't give the clearest of answers, but it had to do with more expenses with a
Sure.
second child.
He, like, if I'm right, he didn't on a second child. Yeah. waar ze in met dat lange klakken staan. En ze dan aan het zak en zout. Wat?
Not to
What?
mention, he thought my mom was a gambling addict,
Oh,
considering the amount
okay.
of money she spent on raffles.
Okay.
My mom was devastated, but she didn't blame me. No, I was
Waar
her
listen
lucky
Glenn nu? Wat de hell? Waar listen Glenn nu?
charm. The one she blamed was Mira,
Why?
but she never told her, and neither did I. I don't think we'd ever tell her. There was this one
Shut on this story.
singular event that made my mother's belief skyrocket. One time when I was younger, my mom couldn't find her earring. It was a small stud, so it could easily be missed. She turned the house upside down and flipped it inside out. I could hear her from the other side of the house. It got to a point where I just got up to see what was the matter.
I thought
On
it
the way
laughed.
there, in between the cracks of the hallway wood floor, was a tiny silver stud earring.
Don't cut it out. Sis, leave it there. Sis, leave it there.
At that time, I didn't know it was what my mom was looking for. I entered her bedroom where she was and asked, "Mom, what are you doing?" She was like, "I lost this tiny stud earring and I can't find it anywhere." I just held out my hand with the earring and asked if this was what she was
Look.
looking for. Her face looked completely floored. She was like, "What? How? I just looked there 10 times. How did you find them?" I just shrugged and handed her it. She looked at it for a moment before she looked up at me. She then said, "God, you are my lucky charm. What would I do without you?"
Oh no. Dat ngala hazard de kans aan een goal. Dat ngala hazard de kans aan een goal. En how to relationship is good, but this is a little bit.
And that's where the deep-rooted belief began. Anyways, my luck continued to prove my mother's point. At my middle school, there was a raffle going on. I remember my mom telling me she enjoyed them, but never won anything. I'd never done one before, so I did. I put my name and number on most of the raffle tickets. At least the things that interested me. I didn't really anticipate anything coming out of it. The whole thing was based on chance.
True.
What were the chances of me winning anything? Well, apparently all of them. Each of the raffle tickets I had submitted were the ones picked.
Bleh.
And I came home with all the things
Bleh. Alles liggen.
I managed to win. My mom was absolutely shocked. What were the odds? Truly. My sister wasn't very superstitious to begin with, but I think that fueled it to a level comparable to my mom. In fact, with the addition of my sister, it got worse. After that, she forced me to come to other events hosted. She made me participate in everything that regarded material items that would be useful to us and money.
God damn it. What is this gonna lose? What is this gonna
I
lose?
probably couldn't even imagine her joy when I managed to win everything we submitted raffle tickets for.
Okay. Something is definitely going on with you. Something is definitely going on with you. Look,
Dragged
come
me to her
look.
high school football games, claiming that it would help her school win. I told her that was crazy. There was no way that my luck would transfer from mere raffle tickets, which was based on chance, to football games, which was based on skill and training.
Yeah.
Well, apparently I was wrong. Because the game I just so happened to attend, my sister's high school won. That one
No, something is seriously going on with you. Can you come to my house and have a look at my channel? Please? And leave it.
game managed to convince my sister that I was a quote-unquote
Oh,
lucky
no.
charm as well.
Oh,
I thought it
no.
was a stupid nickname and a stupid thing to think about. Sure, I suppose someone could be lucky in a moment, but not inherently lucky. My mom and sister didn't agree with that. At all. They thought I was some sort of god or something.
Jongen, sweet baby Jesus from the heavens. You came out of me, and you are God.
Well, maybe not that extreme. But the way they showered me with compliments, dragged me everywhere they could, made people think they were worshipping me or something.
Because they are worshipping you.
I got uncomfortable with what they were doing and how they were doing it. But they'd always say, "You're our lucky charm.
Yeah.
We have to be so close to you. Otherwise, it'll wear off. As if that's a valid excuse.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Anyways, the point of this is that the first night I came home for winter break, I had something absolutely unbelievable happen to me. My room was exactly how I left it 2 semesters ago. However,
That's not rare.
this is where it gets strange. All 3 of us have our own separate rooms.
Okay.
We have never, ever shared a bed, even while camping. We all liked our personal space. Well, the night that I came home, I went to sleep a little earlier than usual. I was tired, and it was break. So I figured I might as well get as much sleep as humanly possible. I went to bed around 9 at night.
Okay.
I never locked my door. There really was no reason. My mom and sister respected my privacy and never came into my room without knocking first.
Alright.
Or at least announcing their presence.
I have that. There's just, come on. No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Just, come on. No, I'll just call. Okay.
At first, everything was perfectly fine and normal. Nothing was out of place. Nothing was out of sorts. But it was in the middle of the night that I woke up to the most embarrassing thing ever. I'm usually a pretty heavy sleeper. Usually. But that one night, apparently my heavy sleeping failed me. I'm pretty sure I woke up because I heard snoring.
Oh no. That was horrible. Somebody snores. And somebody snores not that loud that it's okay. But if somebody sitting next to that, it's a really loud snore. That's so annoying. That's so annoying.
To actually open my eyes, and when I did, there wasn't a lot of light. So I had to try to turn on a light. Except my arm was being held down by something. Or someone.
I would freak out. I would kill somebody accidentally. If I would turn on my light in the middle of the night and somebody would grab my arm in the middle of the night, I would kill them.
That's also when I noticed another person on my
Yeah,
bed.
okay.
I looked at my
Gone.
door and saw that it was closed and still unlocked. I then looked at my window, but saw it perfectly intact and closed. So no one broke in, and even if they did, who would break into someone's house to cut it? I was able to-
Listen, today we are going to go into that house and we are not going to steal the songs. We are not going to grab that really valuable stuff. No. We are going to do something crazy. We are going to cuddle with him.
pull my arm out of the person's grasp and lean to the side enough to turn the light on. The 2 people in my bed weren't some randos who managed to find a peaceful way into my house. It was my mom and sister.
What?
The first thing I felt was absolute disgust and mortification. I had no idea what to do, or how to get out of
Wait, what? I thought you were away because they got the hang out of thing.
that situation as calmly and as rationally as possible. First off, those 2 have never done anything like
Right,
that.
that's kind of
Not
rare.
without my permission, let alone at night,
That's
while
kind of rare.
sleeping together in the same bed. I looked at my sister, who was getting real comfy, sidling up next to me.
Okay, this is some stock low. This is some stock low and stock fish kind of shit. Stock low and stock in washing machine. Stock low, I'm gonna cuddle with you.
I then proceeded to violently push her out of the bed. The thump and impact was enough to wake her up with a jolt and a scream. And that jolt and scream was enough to wake up my mother with a shout. It was complete chaos. As soon as they woke up, I demanded, that's right, demanded, not asked, why they were sleeping in my room, let alone in my bed. My mother didn't seem fazed in the least. In fact,
This is another thing for me. Yeah, when you look at your sister sat in the bed and we cuddled.
in fact, she turned to me, smiled, and said, "You're our lucky charm.
Well,
If we sleep with you, our luck will amplify.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's...
Which, first off, absolutely horrified me. I looked at my sister and was like, "You went along with this?" Even in the dim lighting, I could tell her face was getting red. I hoped it was out of embarrassment.
I think so.
All she said was, "Well, you haven't been home." She said it pretty quietly, but I heard her. My mom told me it's not weird for a parent to sleep with their children.
I glasanje 2 or 3, how old is he? I think somewhere 18, I guess. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird.
But I heard her. My mom told me it's not weird for a parent to sleep with their children, and that I should be more accepting of it, rather than question them. I had no problem with sleeping next to them, but the difference was we usually slept together on the couch, a space big enough for all of us to lie comfortably, spread out if need be. Not on my bed, which was just a queen mattress. Jamming all 3 of us on there was uncomfortably stifling and awkward. I asked my mom why she couldn't have just woken me up to go sleep on the couch, and her excuse was, "You just look so cute sleeping in your bed." I couldn't resist.
You're so beautiful. So I clung next to you, and I just wanted to hold it in my arms. That's not that strange. No, it's not. It's fucking weird. Come on, it's fucking weird.
If I told this story directly to any of my friends, it would come off severely wrong and be misinterpreted without a doubt. I then asked my sister why she, of all people, would ever agree to this. She wasn't one for a lot of physical affection, so the fact that she crawled into a bed with my mom, let alone me...
Oh, that is weird. That is a state of the homeless type thing.
...was a shocker. She just kind of mumbled something along the lines of, "Because I wanted to." Like, excuse me?
Because I wanted to. Yeah, I just wanted to cover with you. Even though I'm not have done that, and I didn't even have a voice sound, I just wanted to cover it.
It's me. That's not a reason. I'd hoped that they knew how insane and ridiculous they sounded. A 16-year-old girl sleeping with her 19-year-old brother, and a 43-year-old woman sleeping with her 19-year-old son. That has CPS written all over it. Like, do they get how, inappropriate that sounds? Let alone is?
Hey, they literally all have clothing on.
I asked my mom, "Do you realize how crazy you sound? Go back to your own bed." She just shook her head and said, "No, I'm sleeping with you whether you like it or not."
Okay, I'm going to sit on the couch.
And I was like, "Well, I don't, and if you do, I'm leaving and sleeping somewhere else." I sounded like a parent.
Oh.
It was like the roles suddenly reversed, and I was dealing with a child not wanting to go back to their own bed. I may have been lucky to them, but surely my own luck liked to turn against me. Why else would this be happening? I then turned my head to Mira, hoping that at least she would go back to her own bed and leave me alone. All she gave me was a non-committal shrug and went, "I go wherever Mom goes." Great. Wonderful.
Yeah, perfect. Yes. Wonderful. Lovely. Fucking perfect. Jesus Christ.
No way of getting rid of them. The 2 crawled back into bed with me and went out like lights immediately after. However, I stayed up. I couldn't sleep. How could
Go to the couch.
I was in an unfortunate and
Go to the couch.
position. That's when I started to wonder just how far my mom's superstition of me being lucky went. If she went as far as to make her child uncomfortable and invade his personal space, what other lengths would she go to? To ensure her luck was spread out? I didn't want to find out.
I'm sorry,
I was afraid to.
I'm sorry. I'm reading this one. I started that is because I'm a famous gamer.
Do a lot of crazy things when driven by wonder, need, or greed.
Okay.
Unfortunately, though, that wasn't the first time they've done crazy things to me.
Okay. Oh, I got 3! No way! No! That is a cartoon! No!
Hey there!
Oh, shit! I know it was a cartoon. I didn't know that it was a cartoon. Oh my god. But yeah, that is some rare shit. Come on. Just take some space. Just want to sit on the couch. Yeah, this is kind of quality and that. Even though the guy is way too small to do it on his kind of sick and strange, but I got to do. But yeah, efter deze video, dan gaat u uit de video, efter uit tijdens, alle doen de kracht toe aan Satanskrachten, aan Sulataka, alle doen kracht 2. But yeah, I found the story, that's why I reacted to it. But yeah, you, I'm wrong, if this is a true story, it doesn't say true story, but I don't know. After guys, I don't know if guys are a true story, so I let them know down to the what you guys thought of the story. I thought it was a crazy, but yeah, I like to enjoy this video, and I hope you guys have a nice day, and see all you guys in the next video tomorrow. Yeah.